So I'm Brian Metzger. I am a junior, and I had the Freeman Spogli Institute Global Policy Internship at the NATO Strategic Communications Center of Excellence in Riga, Latvia.
So my name is Faith Heron. I'm a sophomore here at Stanford. My host organization was the Aga Khan Lycée Foundation. I did a self-funded internship in Tajikistan this summer.
So my name is Zeta Blattner. I'm a sophomore, so class of 2021. And I spent my summer using the Haas fellowship to work with an organization called Niños con Valor, or Children with Value or Bravery, depending on how you translate it, in Cochabamba, Bolivia. It was really fantastic. I felt really at home in Cochabamba, honestly more than I thought I would. I had a really great host family, but also it was just a really fantastic place to be. The organization works with child victims of domestic violence. Bolivia has one of the highest rates of domestic violence and gender-based violence in the world. And to see that this organization both treated that as a cultural problem, they realized that there were certain things within the culture that created these cycles of poverty and abuse, but also did that in a way that completely respected the culture. It was staffed 100% by Bolivians. And really had a lot of respect for that culture and was able to educate me on it in a way to work with it rather than against it.
So I'd say in terms of being abroad, I'd done an internship in my hometown the summer before, and so now, jumping to Riga was a bit of a leap, but I'd say that it was good for me to get outside of my comfort zone and to, I guess, see another part of the world. So at the center I was involved in a few different projects. One of the main ones was doing sort of data entry type stuff for a project monitoring disinformation narratives coming out of Russia with regard to NATO's presence in the Baltic states. We ran an ad campaign targeted towards both Russian-speaking populations and just sort of English-speaking populations, and within those two language breakdowns, we sort of modified the language of the ads to, either try to provoke different emotions, and then we measured like the response rates for each of those ads.
I did a STEAM program, so like STEM with the art components for about 40 fifth grade students. And those were like anything from learning about circuits to learning how to work a 3D printer, and we incorporated technology as well. Because these are the types of skills that these students need to have to be successful in a global world.
So I'd say the highlight was definitely getting to travel to Riga. Latvia is a country that I never would have been to otherwise, just because it's kind of remote, it's small, but I really appreciated having the opportunity to live and work in a city in northeastern Europe. I got to travel on the side. I went to Poland, I went to Ukraine, I went to the other Baltic states as well, and at my internship, it was basically it's a center for disinformation research, and so there I found a lot of people who had kind of similar interests to me, and I talked to them about Latvian politics, sort of compared what the US was like versus Latvia, and overall I guess sort of the social and cultural aspects of the experience were sort of the most memorable for me.
Honestly, just the relationships that I made were the best part, just like both with the kids that I worked with and also with my host family.
So one of the most important things that I learned was how to talk with people who English isn't their first language or second language. For the vast majority of people in the region where I was, English was about the fourth or fifth language that they learned.
I was involved in a lot of different things. I kind of had my hand in little things here and there, but overall I think it was a great internship for exposure, and I think it offered me insight into how in an international alliance like NATO is seeking to combat the problem of disinformation, and I think it starts with research, which is what the Strategic Communications Center of Excellence does. I don't know, I'd say that a lot of people may have reservations about going abroad, maybe people want to be closer to home, but I'd say it's always worth doing that, at least at one point in your life. And I'd say that right now in college, when you have an easy support system, you have the university, and you have, it's easier than just sort of traveling alone maybe when you're older. So I'd say this is the best time in life to do that.